here. So today we are going to start a new topic, vectors. We already know there are two types of quantities. One is scalar, one is vector. Okay, now how to denote a vector? What is vector? What are the terminal and initial point of a vector? We will discuss here. Algebra of vectors. Starting stage of vector we will discuss in this video.
Topics for today: introduction and types of vector, parallelogram, law of vectors and subtraction of vectors, position vector of a point, section formula, components of vector in 2 and 3 dimensions, collinearity and coplanarity of vectors, direction cosines and direction ratios.
In physical quantities we have two types of quantities. One is scalar quantity, other is vector quantity, right? Scalar quantity which only have magnitude, which have nothing to do with your direction. When we are talking about vector quantity, it has magnitude as well as direction. Example of scalar quantities are your volume, mass, density, temperature. And when we are talking about vector quantity, we have velocity, acceleration, force. You might have heard in physics, upward force, downward force, tension, upthrust. So all these are vector quantities, right? So they require magnitude as well as direction. When the term scalar comes, it means we are dealing with real numbers. Now let us check exactly how to denote a vector, right? So basically what we can say that vectors are represented by a directed line segment. What does that mean? Say for example, if I am writing PQ. So in this, P and Q are 2 points which are a part of a line and its direction is from P to Q. P is your initial point, Q is your terminal point, and the length of this line segment is nothing but the magnitude of vector. Is it clear? So length of vector is denoted by this way. Next thing is support of a vector. So support of a vector is nothing but a line of unlimited length of which PQ is a part, right? What does it mean? So this line is nothing but a support of PQ vector. Is it clear? Now let us learn what is sense of a vector. It means if we are talking about PQ vector, it will be always from P to Q, right? The direction of the vector is P to Q. And if I am talking about QP, it will be Q to P, right? So the sense of a vector is nothing but it is from initial to the terminal point. A directed line from initial to a terminal point. Is that clear? So if we have two vectors, A vector and B vector, when they can be equal, right? First, they have same length. Second, same or parallel support. And third, same sense. Is it clear? And it is denoted by, this is equality of vectors. Is that clear? So types of vectors. So first type of vector is zero or null vectors. So zero vectors or null vectors are those vectors in which your initial point and terminal point are coincident, means they coincide with each other. Moreover, what we can say that the vectors whose magnitude is zero, correct? So those are nothing but your null vectors. So initial and terminal points coincide. Zero and are denoted by this. Magnitude of this vector is 0. Okay. Apart from zero or null vector, the other vectors are known as proper vectors. Now next is unit vector. A vector whose magnitude is unity, right? So if I want to write the unit vector of any vector, say for example, I want to write a unit vector of A vector. So I denote it by A cap. So let us see, unit vector of A vector is denoted by A cap. Is it clear? Magnitude of A cap is always 1. So this is known as unit vector. Collinear or parallel vectors means vectors with same or parallel support are nothing but your collinear or parallel vectors. So next is co-initial vectors. As the name suggests, co-initial means they have the same initial point. Okay, the vectors which have the same initial point are co-initial vectors. Same initial point. Okay, coterminous vector. If the vectors have same terminal point, they are known as coterminous vectors. Okay, now negative of a vector. So what do you mean by negative of vector? Magnitude will remain the same, but the direction will be opposite, right? Reciprocal of a vector. If a vector is given to you and we want to find the reciprocal of a vector, the direction of the vector will remain the same, but the magnitude of the vector will be the reciprocal of the given vector. Say for example, I have a vector, right? So for your reciprocal of a vector, direction will be same. Direction is same, but magnitude of this reciprocal vector will be 1 upon magnitude of a. Is it clear? So that is nothing but reciprocal of a vector. Now we will learn about a localized and a free vector. So what is localized vector? If we draw a vector parallel to a given vector but from a specified point in a space, then it is nothing but your localized vector. Is it clear? So localized vector drawn parallel to given vector from specified point in space is nothing but your localized vector. Free vector, if the value of a vector depends upon its direction and magnitude, but it is independent of its position in the space, then it is nothing but a free vector. The value of vector depends upon its magnitude and direction but is independent of its position in space is nothing but your free vector, right? So now let us learn parallelogram law of vectors. If two vectors A vector and B vector represents in magnitude and direction the adjacent sides of the parallelogram, then their sum is represented by C vector as a diagonal which is co-initial with these two adjacent sides, right? So let us check it out. This is my parallelogram, right? And these are my adjacent sides A and B. And what the parallelogram law of addition of vectors says, that the sum of these two vectors will be represented by a diagonal which is co-initial with these two vectors, okay? So basically I can write A vector plus B vector equals to C vector. Okay, that implies OP vector plus OR vector is equal to OQ vector. Now, from the figure, OR vector equals to PQ vector, right? So, what we are getting over here? OP vector plus PQ vector equals to OQ vector. So, from this I can conclude the triangle law of vectors. What does it say? That if two sides of the triangle are represented in the same order, what do you mean by same order? OP plus PQ, then their sum is represented by the third side taken in the reverse order. So what is the reverse order? It is OQ. So now according to it, what will be the triangle law of vector says? It says AB vector plus BC vector equals to AC vector, right? Similarly, I can write BC vector plus CA vector equals to BA vector. BA vector plus AC vector equals to BC vector. Is that clear? Now let us check the properties on addition, right? So what properties on addition says? So vector A plus vector B equals to B vector plus A vector. So this is commutative property. It is held by the vectors. Similarly, is associative property is also held by the vector. A plus B plus C vector will be equal to A vector plus B vector added to C vector. Next is existence of identity. A vector plus null vector is equal to A vector equals to null vector plus A vector. Next is existence of the additive inverse. So it means if A vector is added to negative of A vector, it is always equals to null vector, which is equal to negative of A vector plus A vector, right? Now let us learn subtraction of vectors, okay? So what is subtraction of vectors? If you have A vector and B vector and we want to find the subtraction of B vector from A vector. So it is nothing but the vector sum of A vector with negative of B vector. Is that clear? Let us check it out. What is subtraction of vectors now? So let us check it out. This is my OA vector, right? This is OAB vector represented by B, and OB represents the sum of these two, so A plus B, right? Now if we are talking about the subtraction of the vectors, so I have written it is nothing but the vector sum of A vector and negative of B vector, means the vector will have the same magnitude but the direction will be opposite, right? So this will become minus B vector, okay? And this will in that case represent the vector sum of A vector at minus B vector, okay? So this is nothing but equal to A vector plus minus of B vector, which is equal to A vector minus B vector. Let us take it as B dash. Let us check it out this question. So it's given if A vector, B vector, C vector be the vectors represented by the sides of a triangle taken in order, then prove that A vector plus B vector plus C vector is equal to 0 vector, right? So let ABC be the triangle, okay? And let us assume that BC vector denotes A vector, CA vector denotes B vector, and AB vector denotes C vector, okay? So what is given to us? We have been provided A vector plus B vector plus C vector, right? Equals to, it will become BC vector plus CA vector plus AB vector. Now this will result in BA vector plus AB vector, right? Which is nothing but equal to BB vector. Whenever my terminal point and initial point becomes the same, it is nothing but your null vector. So hence proved. Now let us take this question. So if P1, P2, P3, P4 are the points in a plane or a space and O is the origin of vectors, show that P4 coincides with O if and only if OP1 vector plus P1, P2 vector plus P2, P3 vector plus P3, P4 vector is equal to null vector. So we have to basically show that OP4 vector is a null vector, right? So basically we are going to use here triangle law of vector addition of the vectors, and we will use property of associativity of the vectors, okay? So let us check it out. So we have been given OP1 vector plus P1, P2 vector plus P2, P3 vector plus P3, P4 vector as null vector, right? So I am using the associativity law, and along with it I am using a triangle law of vector addition, right? So this will become OP2 vector, right? Now I will be using again associativity law. Now what this will become? It will become OP3 vector plus P3, P4 vector. Now again using triangle law of vector addition, so this will become OP4 vector, which is equal to null vector. So hence it is shown that the origin coincides with P4 vector. Is that clear? So let us understand what is position vector. If O is a fixed point and it is a origin in a space or a plane, right? Any fixed point, and P is any point, then OP vector is a position vector of P with respect to. Is that clear? So now let us learn how to find a vector in terms of position vector of its endpoint, right? So let A vector and B vector be the position vectors of OA and OB. So say for example, this is my origin, which is a fixed point or a reference point. Now by using triangle law of vectors, I can write OA vector plus AB vector equals to OB vector, right? Or I can write AB vector is equal to OB vector minus OA vector. I already know that my OB vector is B vector minus A vector, right? So I can write, if I want to find a vector with respect to the endpoints of the vector, I can write this as position vector of B minus position vector of, or I can write position vector of head minus position vector of tail. So this is my head, the tail, right? This is the way we can find out the vector with the help of the position vectors of the endpoints. Let us check this question. Let ABCD be a parallelogram if A vector, B vector, C vector be the position vectors of A, B, C respectively with reference to the origin O. Find the position vector of D, right? So we have been provided with a parallelogram A, B, C, D. Its position vector is A, its position vector is B, its position vector is C, and let us assume the position vector of D as D. Now we have been provided with OA vector is equal to A vector, OB vector is equal to B vector, OC vector is equal to C vector, and we have to find the position vector of D, right? So let us assume OD vector is equal to D vector, right? Now since it is a parallelogram, so AB is parallel to CD. So I can write AB vector is equal to DC vector. So what is AB vector? I can write it as B vector minus A vector. Just now we studied in the previous thing. And this will become C vector minus D vector. We have to find the value of D vector, right? So D vector is equal to C vector minus B vector plus A vector. So this is nothing but the position vector of D. So let us learn now the section formula. If A and B be 2 points with the position vector A and B, right? And let C be any point which divides the join of A and B in the ratio m:n. So to find the position vector of C, so let us check how to find the formula for that. So this is my OA vector, this is my OB vector, and this is my OC vector. These are my points A and B which are divided by C in the ratio m:n. So now let us check how to find the position vector of C, right? We have here AC upon CB is equal to m by n, and AC is equal to mCB, or NAC vector is equal to mCB vector. Now we know how to find AC vector. It will be position vector of C minus position vector of A, right? So I can write C vector minus A vector. Similarly, CB vector can be written as B vector minus C vector, correct? Now NC vector minus NA vector equals to MB vector minus MC vector. So collect the terms of C vector. NC vector plus MC vector is equal to MB vector plus NA vector, correct? Take out C vector common. So C vector is nothing but equal to MB vector plus NA vector upon M plus N. Or I can write as OC vector is equal to MB vector plus NA vector upon M plus N. What happens if C is a midpoint of AB? What will be the position vector of C? In that case, we have m:n as 1:1, right? So I can write OC vector is equal to 1 into B vector plus 1 into A vector upon 1 plus 1. So it is nothing but B vector plus A vector by 2, right? Now let us check the external division of the points. So now let us check the section formula for the external division. Say for example, let A and B be 2 points with position vectors A and B, and C is another point which divides A and B in the ratio m:n. So this is my origin, this is my A vector, this is my B vector, and this is somewhere C which is dividing them externally. C, A vector, B vector, and let us assume this is C vector. I have to find the position vector of C, right? So again, AC upon BC is given as m by n. Now I can write NAC is equal to MBC, correct? Now this can be written as C vector minus A vector equals to, this can be written as C vector minus B vector, right? So NC vector minus NA vector is equal to MC vector minus MB vector. Let us arrange the terms. NA vector minus MB vector. So basically what I am getting here, NA vector minus MB vector on n minus m. Or I can write the position vector of C is MB vector minus NA vector upon m minus. Now let us check some questions on this. Find the position vector of the points which divide the join of points 2a vector minus 3b vector and 3a vector minus 2b vector internally and externally in the ratio 2:3, right? So this is my 2a vector minus 3b vector, and this is, say for example, A. B is given as 3a vector minus 2b vector, and I have to find the position vector of C, right, which is dividing the ratio 2:3. So what will be my OC vector? OC vector will be equal to 2 into 3a vector minus 2b vector plus 3 into 2a vector minus 3b vector upon 2 plus 3. 2 into this, 3 into this. So this is the position vector of C. Now let us check what will be the position vector of C when it is dividing these 2 points externally. Now if they are dividing externally, so what will be the case in that scene? So this is my A vector, this is my B vector, and this is my C vector, right? So this is the case. So AC upon BC is given as 2:3, right? So let us find the position vector of C. So what it will be? It will be 3 into 2a vector minus 3b vector minus 2 into 3a vector minus 2b vector upon 3 minus 2. So it is minus 5b vector. So let us now learn the components of vector in 2 dimension. So say for example, I have a point P x comma y in the coordinate axis in such a way. So this is P x comma y point. So in that case, PM is y and OM is x. So if I assume I and j to be the unit vector along x-axis and y-axis. So how I can write? I can write my PM vector as yj and OM as xi, right? So I can write OP vector as OM vector plus PM vector, right? So this is nothing but equal to xi plus yj. The vector component of OP along x-axis is xi and along y-axis it is yj. Is that clear? Now, if I want to find the magnitude of OP vector, so it will be equal to x square plus y square. Now, if the case is like this, then how we can find out the components? Say for example, I have the vector this kind. Now, if we check this type of question is given, we have been provided with the endpoints, then how we can find out the components of the vector? So, it will be x2 minus x1 and your BP will be your y2 minus y1, correct? Look here. So from here to here it is x2, correct? And this is x1. If I want to find this part, so x2 minus x1, BP it will be y2 minus y1. Now if I want to find the vector part of it, so it will become x2 minus x1, and we already know that I is the unit vector along x-axis. So I'll write I cap over here. BP vector will become y2 minus y1 j cap. And the component of AB I can write as AP vector plus BP vector. So it is nothing but x2 minus x1 I cap plus y2 minus y1 j cap. Okay. If we want to find the magnitude of this vector, it is nothing but root x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. Is that clear? So now if we talk about the equality of vectors, if two vectors are equal, it means their components should be equal, right? So say for example, I am writing A vector equals to B vector. So what does that imply? If I am writing A1i, A vector as A1i plus A2j and B vector as B1i plus B2j, and these two vectors are equal, so it implies that A1 is equal to B1 and A2 equals to B2. Is that clear? So now let us check components of a vector in the 3 dimension. As we can see in the figure that Px comma y is a point in a space with reference to the coordinate axis Ox, Oy and Oz, right? So I can write OA as x, OB as y and OC as z. So along x-axis the vector component will be xi. Along y-axis the vector component will be yj. Along z-axis it will be zk, right? So now if we want to find OP vector, right? OP vector. So let us first join this OC vector, right? So OP vector will be equal to OC dash vector plus C dash P vector, right? Now OC dash vector, look here, OC dash vector will be equal to OB vector plus BC dash vector plus C dash P vector, right? So OB vector plus BC dash vector is nothing but equal to OA vector and C dash P vector is nothing but equal to your OC vector. So OP vector can be written as OA vector plus OB vector plus OC vector. Now what is my OA vector? It is xi plus yj plus zk. So done. And if I want to find the magnitude of OP vector, it will be nothing but equal to x square plus y square plus z square. Now let us take this question. The adjacent sides of a parallelogram are represented by the vectors A and B. Find the unit vector parallel to the diagonals of a parallelogram. So let this be my parallelogram A, B, C, D. So this is A, this is B. These are the adjacent sides. So since it's a parallelogram, this will be also B vector and this will be A vector. And we have to find the unit vector parallel to the diagonals, right? So basically I have to find unit vector along AC and along BD. Now I can write AB vector plus BC vector equals to AC vector. A vector plus B vector is equal to AC vector. So it means my AC vector will be equal to I plus j minus k plus minus 2i plus j plus 2k. Okay. So if I solve it, what I am getting? Minus I plus 2j plus k vector. And if I want to find unit vector along it, means I have to divide by its magnitude. Okay. Root minus 1 square plus 2 square plus 1 square. So basically I am getting here minus I plus 2j plus k upon root 6. Now if we talk about BD vector, right? So I can write in triangle ABD, I can write AB vector plus BD vector equals to AD vector. Okay? AB vector is A plus BD vector equals to B vector. So BD vector is nothing but equal to B vector minus A vector. So BD vector is equal to minus 2i plus j plus 2k minus A vector. So BD vector equals to minus 3i plus 3k vector. Now unit vector along it equals to minus 3i plus 3k divided by its magnitude. So root minus 3 square 9 plus 19. So we can write minus 3i plus 3k upon 3 root 2. You can take out 3 common, cancel, and you will get the required result. So this is the way how to find out the unit vector parallel to the diagonals of a parallelogram. So let us talk about the collinearity of vectors. If two vectors are collinear, then one vector can be written in some terms of the other vector. A vector equals to lambda times of B vector. Lambda is some scalar quantity. Or what we can write, if A vector I write it as in the component form and B vector as, and if they are collinear, so what does that imply? It implies A1 upon B1 equals to A2 upon B2 equals to A3 upon B3. So if the vectors are collinear, this condition should be satisfied. If this condition satisfies, then the vectors are collinear. Is that clear? Now let us check one general criteria on the basis of the collinearity of the vectors. So what it says, if we have two non-zero vectors, right, A and B, and they can be collinear if and only if there exists the scalars x and y such that x A vector plus y B vector equals to 0 vector. So x and y are my scalars and not both of them are 0. Here my A and B vector are non-zero vectors and they can be collinear if and only if they satisfy this condition. Is that clear? Now second thing is, if I have two vectors A and B as non-collinear vectors but they satisfy this condition, okay, then this implies x and y is 0. So this is the general criteria about the collinearity of the vectors. Now let us solve some questions. Let us check this question. If A vector and B vector are two non-collinear vectors, find the value of x for which the vector alpha, which is the combination of x minus 2a vector plus b vector, and beta vector is equal to 3 plus 2x a vector minus 2b vector are collinear. Alpha vector and beta vector are collinear. So this implies alpha vector can be written in terms of beta vector, correct? Let us substitute the values. Now let us collect the terms to one side of a vector and b vector. And just now we studied if two non-collinear vectors are there and they are written in the linear combination, means just now we studied if we have this type of combination where my A vector and B vector are non-collinear, in that case x will be equal to 0 and y will also be equal to 0. So now using that theorem I can write separately this and this part as equal to 0, right? I will get 1 plus 2 lambda equals to 0, which implies me lambda equals to minus 1 by 2, correct? Secondly, I have the equation x minus 2 minus 3 lambda minus 2 lambda x is equal to 0. Let us substitute the value of lambda here. So x minus 2, so this will become plus 3 by 2 and this will become plus x equals to 0. So I have 2x minus 1 by 2 equals to 0, which implies me x is equal to 1 by 4. Is that clear? So this is the way we can find out if we know the criteria for the collinearity. Let us take one more question. Now let us take this question. Show that the vectors 2i minus 3j plus 4k and minus 4i plus 6j minus 8k are collinear, right? So if we are able to write one of the vector in terms of the other, then we are done, right? So A vector is given as 2i minus 3j plus 4k, right? And B vector is given as minus 4i plus 6j minus 8k. So I can take out minus 2 common here, right? So 2i minus 3j plus 4k. So I have written B vector equals to minus 2 of A vector. So I am able to write B vector in terms of A vectors, right, into some scalar quantity. So hence A vector and B vector are collinear. Or what you could have done, you could have written this way also. You can write 2 upon minus 4 equals to minus 3 upon 6 equals to 4 upon minus 8, right? In this case you are getting minus 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2 equals to minus 1 by 2, right? When the components bear the same ratio, then also your vectors are collinear. So both the ways are correct. Okay, so let us talk about the coplanarity now. If the system of the vectors are coplanar, that means that the support of those vectors is parallel to the same plane, right? Now how to check the coplanarity of the vectors? So first we'll talk about the system for the 3 vectors and then we'll talk about the 4 vectors. So when we are checking about the coplanarity of 3 vectors, so if we have 2 vectors A vector and B vector which are non-zero and non-collinear, and let us assume we have one third vector R which is coplanar with A and B. So how we can write R vector as? So R vector will be x A vector plus y B vector. Okay, this A and B are non-collinear as well as non-zero vectors. R is a vector which is coplanar with A and B. So R can be expressed in this, where x and y are scalars. Is that clear? If we are talking about the coplanarity of 4 vectors, so let us take A vector, B vector, C vector and D vector as 4 non-zero non-collinear vectors, and if they are coplanar, then we can write as XA vector plus YB vector plus ZC vector plus UD vector equals to 0, where X, Y, Z and U are your scalars. Okay, so these are scalars. Not all of them are 0, and also they will adhere to the condition this equals to 0. Then only in that case A vector, B vector, C vector and D vector will become coplanar. Now let us take some examples to understand how to check the coplanarity of the vectors. Let us take this question. Show that the vectors A vector minus 2B vector plus 3C vector, comma A vector minus 3B vector plus 5C vector and minus 2A vector plus 3B vector minus 4C vector are coplanar, where A, B, C are non-coplanar, right? So whenever we were talking about the coplanarity of 3 vectors, what we have done, we have written one of the vector as the linear combination or as the sum of the other 2 vectors, right? So what I can do here, I will write A vector minus 2B vector plus 3C vector equals to some scalar multiple of these, some linear combination of these vectors, okay? And from here I will fetch 3 equations in X and Y, okay? First let us rearrange it. So this yields me 3 equations. X minus 2y equals to 1, comma minus 3x plus 3y equals to minus 2, and the third equation is 5x minus 4y equals to 3. Now what we are going to do, we will solve these 2 equations and get the value of x and y, and I will substitute those values of x and y in the third equation. If my third equation gets satisfied with those values of x and y, it means my vectors are coplanar. Is that clear? So let us solve first these 2 equations. I have multiplied this equation by 3 and I am adding to this equation. So I got y is equals to minus 1 by 3. Let us substitute here. I got x also equals to 1 by 3. Now let us substitute the value of x and y in this equation and check. So my third equation gets satisfied with these values of x and y, hence my vectors are coplanar. Is that clear? In case my values of x and y does not satisfy the third equation, then the vectors won't be coplanar. They will be non-coplanar. Is that clear? Let us take one more question. So let us take this question. Show that 4 points A, B, C, D with position vectors A vector, B vector, C vector and D vector respectively are coplanar if and only if 3A vector minus 2B vector plus C vector minus 2D vector is equal to 0 vector. So just now we studied that the 4 points will be coplanar only in the case if we have such kind of condition: XA vector plus YB vector plus ZC vector plus UD vector equals to 0 vector when X plus Y plus Z plus U equals to 0, right? So if I check this case, 3A vector minus 2B vector plus C vector minus 2D vector is a 0 vector. So if I compare this with this, I have X as 3, Y as minus 2, Z as 1 and U as minus 2. X plus Y plus Z plus U equals to 3 minus 2 plus 1 minus 2. So I am getting 0 over here. So it means these 4 points will be coplanar if and only if this is equal to 0. Their linear combination gives the 0 vector. Now let us learn about direction cosines and direction ratios. So this is my coordinate axis and P be any point with the coordinates x, y, z. Let OP vector makes the angle alpha, beta, gamma with the positive direction of x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. Okay, alpha, beta, this is gamma. So our OP vector makes an angle alpha, beta, gamma in the anti-clockwise direction or with the positive direction of x-axis, y-axis and z-axis, right? So when I am talking about direction cosines, it is nothing but the cosine of these angles. Okay, so it means cos alpha, cos beta and cos gamma are nothing but the direction cosines of OP vector, right? And they are denoted by L, M and N. Is that clear? So L is nothing but cos alpha, M is nothing but cos beta and N is nothing but cos gamma. The value of alpha, beta, gamma lies between 0 and pi. Okay. So OP vector makes the angle alpha, beta and gamma with the positive direction of x-axis and y-axis. If we are talking about PO vector, it makes an angle of, PO vector makes an angle of pi minus alpha, pi minus beta and pi minus gamma. So if I am talking about the direction cosines of PO vector, it will be cos pi minus alpha, cos pi minus beta and cos pi minus gamma. Now if we want to check the direction cosines of x-axis, right? So we are talking about DCs of x-axis. So x-axis makes an angle of 0 degree with x-axis, 90 degree with y-axis, again 90 degree with z-axis, right? So what will be my DCs? Cos 0, cos pi by 2, cos pi by 2, right? So it will become 1, 0, 0. So that DCs of x-axis are 1, 0, 0. If for y, similarly we can find out for y and z-axis. So for y-axis it will be 0, 1, 0 and for z-axis it will be 0, 0, 1. Okay. So now if OP vector equals to R vector, then if I want to find out the projection of OP vector on x, y and z axis, so it will be, then magnitude of OP vector will be magnitude of R vector, right? So the projection of OP vector on x axis, projection, it is L into magnitude of R vector, right? Projection of OP on y axis, it will be M on magnitude of R vector, and on z axis it will be L into magnitude of R vector. Is that clear? Now we can write R vector is equal to magnitude of R L I plus Nj plus Nk vector. So we can say R cap is equal to Li plus Mj plus Nk. So moreover we can write L square plus M square plus N square equals to 1. Okay. So now let us learn direction ratios. L, M and N are the DCs of a vector. If A, B, C are three numbers such that L upon A is equal to M upon B equals to N upon C. In that case, A, B, C are known as the direction ratios of the given vector, or they are also known as direction numbers of the given vector, right? Direction cosines are unique, but direction ratios are not. Let us just check it out. So say for example, I have DCs of a vector as, say for example, these are my DCs of the vector, right? So I can find out infinite numbers which can act as a direction ratios. If I multiply this by 14, right? So I will get 2, 4, minus 6. I can multiply by minus 7. So minus 1, minus 2 and 3. I can multiply by 21, right? So I will get 3, 6, minus 9. I can write infinite numbers of direction ratios to the given direction cosines. So always remember, direction cosines are unique, but direction ratios can be in any number. So now if we want to find the value of LMN in terms of ABC, what we can do? Write it equals to lambda. So L is equal to A lambda, M is equal to B lambda and N is equal to C lambda, right? And we already know L square plus M square plus N square is equal to 1, right? So I can write here A square lambda square plus B square lambda square plus c square lambda square is equal to 1. Lambda square common, a square plus b square plus c square is equal to 1. Lambda square is equal to 1 upon a square plus b square plus c square. Lambda is equal to plus minus 1 by root a square plus b square plus c square. So we have L is equal to a lambda. So it will become plus minus a upon root a square plus b square plus c square. Similarly, I can write for m. It will become b upon root a square plus b square plus c square, and n is equal to plus minus c upon root a square plus b square plus c square. So if we have r vector as ai plus bj plus ck, so how to write the DCs of such vector? It is L is equal to a upon magnitude of r vector, m is equal to b upon magnitude of r vector, and n is equal to c upon magnitude of r vector. And what is the magnitude of r vector? It is root a square plus b square plus c square. Okay. Now second is drs of the line segment joining points x1, y1, z1 and x2, y2, z2 are proportional to x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1 and z2 minus z1. Is that clear? Now next is two parallel vectors have proportional direction ratios. Very important concept. Okay. Now let us see some questions. Let us take this question. A vector OP is inclined to OX at 45 degree, OY at 60 degree. Find the angle at which OP is inclined to OZ. So let gamma be the angle made by OP vector inclined to OZ, right? So now we already know L is equal to cos 45 degree, M is equal to cos 60 degree, and N is equal to cos gamma. L square plus M square plus N square equals to 1, right? So pi cos square 45 degree plus cos square 60 degree plus cos square gamma equals to 1. So this is 1 by root 2 whole square plus 1 by 2 whole square plus cos square gamma equals to 1. 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4 plus cos square gamma equals to 1. Cos square gamma equals to 1 minus 3 by 4. So cos square gamma equals to 1 by 4. So it means cos gamma is equal to plus minus 1 by 2. So this implies gamma equals to 60 degree or 180 minus 60. So 60 degree or 120 degree, right? Now let us take one more question. A vector R is inclined at equal angles to OX, OY, OZ. If magnitude of R vector is 6 units, find R vector, right? So let us assume that R vector makes alpha angle with OX, OY and OZ, right? So in that case, I can write L equals to M equals to N equals to cos alpha. And I know L square plus M square plus N square equals to 1. So what I can write? Cos square alpha plus cos square alpha equals to 1. 3 cos square alpha is equal to 1. Cos alpha is equal to plus minus 1 by root 3. Right. Now I have to find R vector. So R vector is equal to magnitude of R vector Li plus Mj plus Nk. Right. So 6. The value of L, M and N is plus minus 1 by root 3. Okay. So what will be my R vector? So R vector is equal to 6 by root 3 plus minus I can take out common I plus J plus K. So it is nothing but 2 root 3 I plus J plus K. Okay. So this is all about algebra of vectors. Keep in your mind few points that if I want to find the unit vector and how it is denoted. So if I am talking about unit vector, it is denoted by any vector on the top of that is cap and its magnitude is always 1. How we find out unit vector? It is nothing but a vector upon magnitude of a vector. right? Please remember that direction cosines are unique. Direction ratios can be in any number. Okay. Moreover, what are your collinear points? What are your coplanar points? Always remember that. And if you are thorough with a vector algebra, you won't face problem in factors.
Today we learned introduction and types of vector, parallelogram, law of vectors and subtraction of vectors, position vector of a point, section formula, components of vector in 2 and 3 dimensions, collinearity and coplanarity of vectors, direction cosines and direction ratios.
That's all in the topic today. Stay tuned.